Staff would agree with this, Ray would agree with this, that our biggest mistake was not signing contracts that had us getting residuals. I think that the end of Gladiators, which is in 1997, there was 4 different entities, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dan and Ray, but there was 4 different entities that owned the show, and they all got a little greedy, and one person would say, if I can't have it outright, nobody's going to have it outright. And that bickering kind of went back and forth, and it died sort of a benign death before it really got off the ground. We were just before, Netscape and the Internet exploded, and if it existed today, the old show, not that piece of crap that was on NBC, the old show, everybody
That's what I like about you, Mike, shooting it straight from the hip. That's my Chi-Town boy.
That's what it was. Our marketing would have been ridiculous. We'd have had Twitter, we'd have had blogging. Everybody would have made money on this thing. And I always thought that if they were to send a time capsule via, satellite into the outer parts of the universe and wanted to represent America in the 1990s, they would definitely have maybe the Golden Arches and Big Macs, and they'd also have, and maybe Hugh Hefner, but they'd also have American Gladiators, because it was ahead of its time. It was the original reality show. Unlike, again, the piece of crap that we were talking about earlier, the Gladiators had personalities. They originally just said that the marketing audience, that the people that were watching this were males 18 to 35. Well, it turned out not only did they watch, but women watched in droves, because the women competed in the same events that the men did, and in many cases were just as tough as the men were. And also kids. Kids loved the show because they loved the Gladiators. They were comic book superheroes come to life. And we gave these guys personalities, and they all worked on developing their personalities. And Ray and Dan became 2 of the best personalities that American Gladiators ever had, and that's why people still remember them. And it's just a shame to see the show go down the tubes, because when they brought it back to NBC, they didn't want anybody who was remotely tied into the old show, whether you were a cameraman, whether you were a director, whether you were a host, whether you were a gladiator. They didn't want any part of us, and that was their biggest mistake, because they missed the whole reason why the show existed.
Yeah, I totally
Indeed.
I mean, I'm glad they brought it back, but wow, they brought it back badly. And with the hosting, I feel bad for Carrie, the Hulk, and Layla, who got thrown into that mess. But
well, if anything, Ray and Michael, the English, sometimes they know how to do it right. The English, had their version of Gladiators, and it was very, very popular, like our show was. And when they redid it last year, the first thing they did was bring back the people from the original show. And they had a super show, old versus new, who's left standing. And that was an idea all of us talked to NBC about, and they, like Mike said, they just didn't want any part of it. And I think that was the, stone that broke the, camel's back, so to speak.
Well, here's one of the places where they missed the boat, and this is not just to, say me and Zonka got screwed, is that you didn't need celebrity hosts to moderate that show, because number one, they're not the stars of the show. The Gladiators and the Contenders are. And number 2, Hulk Hogan and Layla Ali are used to being interviewed. They're not used to doing interviews. And I'll remember the show number 1 as long as I live. There was a kid standing at the base of the final event, the Eliminator. And Hulk goes up to him and says, "All right, brother, the Eliminator." And this kid had this quizzical look on his face and said, "You got a question there, Hulk?" It was just, and these guys they just stood around. It was just awful. It was absolutely, our Gladiators had interaction. They would grab the microphone. They had a little bit of WWE in them. They knew how to express their personalities, and it was all good. All good.
One of the cool things, Blade, and got to give all the props out to Mike. We encourage you fans to log on to shoutfactory.com for more information on the release of American Gladiators, the original series. The Battle Begins, of course, you can make it part of your DVD library. I think we have an idea for a future program about a Gladiator reunion. Guys, thanks for the surprise, not only for us, but But for Mike, as part of our brand new fall season, and Dan, I think that we'll be placing the digits within one another very shortly. But thanks to yourself and this Gladiator reunion that you had the chance to help put together with Zap for the Mayhem Nation tonight.
Yeah, I just want to say for, all the listeners out there, and I know Ray feels the same way, and I'll give her a chance to comment. Mike was more than just the announcer or the host of the show. Mike was the heart of the show. He was the conscience of the show. He was the patron of the show, and he was our, fearless leader in a lot of ways. And, for all of that, Michael, and for all those years you took, especially me under your tutelage and, the young, arrogant, cocky punk that I was, and just, kept an eye out for me.
Come on, that was part of your persona.
Yeah, but I'm so appreciative of it, man. I'm so appreciative, like a big brother to me, man. I appreciate that.
Well, you know what? I'll always remember, I don't know if you know this, Mosh, that we went on a 60-city tour.
150, Mike.
Was it 150?
150, yeah.
Yeah, and it was unbelievable. It was like the circus, rolling into town, and we have so many good stories. Most of them we can't tell, and we won't tell, but we developed. That's when we really developed our chemistry with one another, because when you live and you sleep with somebody and you eat, cans of baked beans and go into some of these places. But what was amazing about it is this is the one I remember the most. We go to Houston, Texas, and we're in the Astrodome, and it's Super Bowl Sunday, and there's 15,000 people in this place. And we had garbage for, apparatus. It wasn't like the stuff we had in Los Angeles. We packed up a U-Haul van and brought out a couple of mats, and we still made it work. It was so much fun.
It was.
Yeah, and if I had to do one thing all over again in my lifetime, I would definitely do that. I would sign on for that in a heartbeat, and I might do it for no money.
Yeah, that was a fantastic time. Don't let Johnny Ferraro hear you.
Yeah, hey.
No, I know.
Ray, Zap, you have one there?
We all made early. We all said, hey, we'll do this for nothing, and Johnny took us at our word.
Oh, that's very funny. Ray, Zap, do you have a memory from the tour or something you want to share before we hang off?
Sweetheart, I have 6.5 years of memories, and it's nice that we're still all pretty close. I believe, I've got most of you guys still my friends. And Mike, get back to L.A., honey. We miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let us know. Dan, congratulations on your book. Everybody I've told to read it, can't put it down.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely awesome.
Thank you. And, if anybody wants to find me, you guys all know where you can find me. It's DanNitroClark.com. And I know you can find Ray at, where, Ray?
RayHarlett.com.
Yeah, so give us a jingle. We're both on Facebook as well. We'd love to hear from the peeps. And Michael Adamle, my big brother, don't you be such a stranger, and have a great time out at the triathlon.
Okay, I will.
In Hawaii.
When roll out the red carpet when I come to L.A., I expect we all got to get together. We need to get together.
Let us know.
All right, let us know.
Okay, guys.
Great.
Thanks.
All right,
Great
guys.
stuff,
Thanks,
guys.
man. All right.
Nitro, always a pleasure. Blade, we got Colin Delaney, for his former Gladiator. But what other surprises do we have in store for the Mayhem Nation and for Mike Adamle?
I don't know who else can we get now? Who can top these calls?
Stephanie McMahon?
I heard she's on the line next.
I sincerely doubt that's going to happen. That's just
she's on Raw right now. Okay.
She has Blade before the.
We got to get back.
Intrusion.
I guess we got to get back to the grappling now. So I guess I got to remember where I was going with that question. But yeah, Mike, you mentioned how when you came in, they were talking to you about what you did and what you knew about wrestling and whatnot. But from what we hear from the writers' perspective, it's mostly they want guys there, with the Hollywood background, that from Nickelodeon, from MTV, and these guys, as they say, for the most part, wouldn't know a headlock from a hammerlock from anything else. So what is your take on that? How would you like to see this go if you were running the ship?
Well, I think they've, and this is out of necessity. This is just my opinion, and I can't underscore that enough. But I don't think that Vince will rest until they get a major sponsor. I know that Gillette signed on, and they've been, very successful in reaching out to different charitable organizations. They've been on American Idol. I think they've been on Dancing with the Stars. They've gotten themselves. That would really help them if they had, how about Stephanie McMahon or Shane McMahon getting in who's got a few great dance moves himself. If they got one of those guys on Dancing with the Stars, that would really catapult things. But I think that they've had to take a lot of the edge out of the shows the way it used to be for because of the fact that they can't get those big time